I am a soul blazer. I change lives, I touch people's souls, and I open them up. I teach people how to be present and to be in their authentic soul. Do you guys know what imposters are? These untrained imposters, they reside on the stage of our brain, and they're trying to control us. But usually what happens is they make things worse. But the good news is that we can control them. We could take over and we could teach them to work for us instead of against us. Hi, and welcome to the SoulBlazing Mastermind podcast. I'm so excited today because I have a very dear friend, someone who I love and adore, and I think is amazing and a truly magical being that I met about a decade ago. His name is Gwaii Thy Word, and this is a little bit about him. Gwaii is a poet, an actor, an ambassador, and an energetic spirit from Tanzania, traveling across the world, spreading his passion for all music, including Afrobeats and reggae. His presence and mindful ethos are infectious and fuel his positive vibes and growth mindset. So welcome, Gwaii.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you very much.
Hi.
Hey. How are you?
I'm great. It's so good to see you. And all the way from
Same here.
Tanzania, you're there right now.
Yes, I am. Only Lisa's energy can bring this forward. It's like, hey, let's do it. So, thank you.
And you're in a cafe because the internet's kind of on the blink right now, right?
A little bit. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
welcome. Thank you for finding a way to make this happen.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. Thank you for the timing. I know you guys are waking up over there as we are going to rest. So this is a beautiful time. It shows how magic this world can be.
Yes. And I wanted to introduce you to my audience because I've got to experience you firsthand for over a decade. And you are truly one of the most magical, mystical magicians and creatives that I've ever met. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what makes you Gwaii and how are you so unique and special? What are your secrets? How do you do your daily life? And I know you like to equate yourself to Bruce Lee because you've studied him and you've taken on some of his habits and martial arts. So just talk a little bit about how do you become so good at so many things and so fearless and so positive?
So, Gwaii, as the name stands for God with all, I am, I and I. I as the image, the other I is the I am. So it's all in oneness. So I've always been a historian, naturally. In high school, I studied HGL, which was history, geography, and language. But the fact that I come from a diplomatic background, that led me to come to the US to study international relations. So the way I see life was a little bit wider in the sense of coming from Africa, whereby you're called third world. And then the more you study in history, it's mother of civilization. So with all that confusion, then I was right there in the middle. I got this and this, and I'm supposed to be a diplomat, come and study diplomat and come back to Tanzania and let the people know, like, hey, man, I speak proper English and all this. So I feel like what the universe did to me, it just calmed me down. And then with martial arts, you're dealing with your temple, the body. So the body is not just a body, becomes a temple. So it's all in one. And then you spoke of Bruce Lee in sense of, here I am, how honestly can I express myself? So as you speak of the imposters, Lisa, to me, I've come to know that we are all given this natural talent, if it's sewing, cooking, and all these things. So I find the most I within my talent. So within my talents, then it's like, here I am, how can I present myself? And this is the same way Bruce Lee said, we got 2 arms and 2 legs. Unless somebody else had 3 arms and you have 2, Lisa, now you have to have a style. But then if it's all 2 and 2, 4, here we are. So it's really, how can you express yourself? So with that, I look at life towards that area to whereby we're given life for free. So now how can you represent it? And life is the best presenter and, present as the same way. So we're just simplifying those matters. And then with the talents, really, whereby the more I focus on the talent, I find the universe, I find the Most High, as some would say, God, within that. So it gives me a very peaceful mind because I'm doing something I'm happy with. Then I'm also studying people who found themselves how they could be happy with this so-called chaos of work. Because no, life is so amazing. It's people. So I don't look at the world as all in one. The world is messed up. No, James and Judy are messed up. Jackson and Janet. So it's an individual, people to people. So once I came across that to self, then I found Gwaii.
Okay. So what were you going through that made you want to find Gwaii? Usually it's
Nothing. Yeah, it's not even like going through something, Lisa. It's just by knowing. There wasn't believing. So as a youth, I was always, like I said, I studied history and geography and language. But again, as an African, maybe it's like, oh, you come from third world. So I never had that mentality because I came from a diplomatic background. So there wasn't anything of searching or looking. So you living here from a diplomatic background, going to the US to study international relations, to come home and be a diplomat and work at the foreign affairs. So you're like, okay,
Mhm.
at the same time, you have talents that you're given by God, whereby now the child is like, either you go to school, get a degree, and become somebody, and then you come to a place like, the US, whereby it's like, hey, you came from this third world, maybe you need our help. Then it's like, no, I did not come from this third world, I came from the first world, and I know who I am and everything. Because even when I mentioned to them who my father was, things changed. That's where the came, like, oh, it's about the title. But it's like, can we just be without a title? The title doesn't make you who you are. And then my minor was Bible study. So you could imagine whereby, this book I'm just studying like Monday through Friday. I study. I'm not waiting again for Sunday service. We're not waiting for pastor so and so. It's like I'm going to school for it. And what happened was, when the professor said put yourself as John, put yourself as Peter, that was it for me, Lisa. Because we usually put these names, the actual Christians, they're just very far, but they're really close by us. We are the Peters of today and the Johns and everything, if we really come to the two arms and two legs. So it's all that combination, So I wasn't finding something, something was finding me.
Yes, yes, that's interesting. Yeah, you are wonderful at improvisation and music. You've come to my house many times and just improvise and light up the whole room with your magical lyrics. And you always equate it to what's happening right in the present moment, what you're feeling in the room. And you
Yes.
make up these songs. You are a natural born poet and musician. So how can people access that in a simple way, like step 1, 2, 3? How can people access an innate talent they have and express themselves? Because a lot of my clients are like, I don't know what to do, or I don't have talent, or how do you even make a life
Hmm.
because I'm so bogged down with bills and
So
responsibilities.
usually, yes. Usually I say when we look at the Lisa who was 7 years old, right? Or 5 years old, the time when you did not know, like, oh, I could be the best dancer or the best actor unless you had parents that were telling you every day, every day, every day. But still, as a youth, we still have this other minds, like, I don't know why my father wants me to sing and sing or play piano. I'm just natural with it. It doesn't matter. You want to go outside and do something else. So I usually say, we have to check from that. The time when I was not conscious, but subconscious, but still conscious in a way of saying what I was easy doing, my easy of the doing, what was natural for you to do without thinking, to simplify in that matter. So it's like from a young age, from 12, oh my God, I always love to sing. Okay, now, because usually when we get older, there's this thing called shy and so forth and so forth. The post-traumatic slave syndrome that come in with people telling you this, telling you that, the imposters. So I feel like at 39, let's look at what happened, like what made you feel life and everything when you were 15. So once we get there, it becomes easier to trace for me in the simple matter because it started somewhere from that area. And then, of course, our parents, we have to look at them and who they are and what they did naturally. You might have a father who was a minister and then you become an actor. But it's like there's this leading thing, you're born in a leadership family and so forth,
Yes, I see that. And you had a very great role model just in your father, and
Yes, yes,
he's a diplomat, correct?
correct, correct.
Yeah, so you had someone to look up to. You had someone saying you can do anything, and he was a living example of that, not just words.
Yes, naturally, but he's most of our parents or African parents is go to school and go to school first. So was more like, you see, like, this my father, who this man is, like my father's a big man. He have a driver, there's a flag waving in his car. We got doors open. So it's like the levity of the coming to America, move that levity. Like, you have a helper whereby I'm in the room, I have a helper could ring the bell and come. But it was not like, oh my God, that was not that. It was like, he is supposed to be that. It's already like that because I found it in there. So it's like more on the royalty side, because again, there is a fearing of the Most High. My parents, it's not even fearing, like the loving or the knowing, not fearing, the knowing of, utilize the word God was always within there. So I feel with that guidance, Lisa was always like, there are so many problems, but it's like, oh, we are capable of solving with God, So, but that wasn't like the statement, but he was still solving it. So it's like, oh, because he's a big man, So to the point when I came to the US, is my talent, because I created Gwaii in terms of saying, wow, I can do this. So it's like, but I come from people who are doers, so it's like it wasn't an issue of the doing, but it's what am I doing now. So it's like, okay, but I'm not going to do what my father, read a book, this, get a degree. I'm a natural born diplomat. To be a diplomat is just the highest level of love. That's what I've come across, because it's like you're representing this country, another country. If this person has a problem, they come to you, So if I'm in Ethiopia, anybody from Tanzania has a problem, will come to me at the Tanzania embassy in Ethiopia. So I'll solve their problems. So, Lisa, you've been solving problems at, what's the address right there? Greenleaf.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
so it's like, hey, what other degree do you need?
Yeah, we're cut from the same cloth. I think my degree is traveling around the world to over 60 countries. I learned much more from that than I did from sitting in a classroom, meeting.
Indeed.
And the places I actually lived in, like Egypt and Japan and Spain, you learn so much from these different cultures, and they're not the other anymore. There's so much that is, you know, universal in all of us.
Uh-huh.
And I just
Uh-huh.
love
Uh-huh.
traveling because I love meeting people from all over. It's so inspiring, and it's
Hmm.
different. It gives you different spices in your life.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So,
Who's your mentor? Who's someone that you love and admire? I know Bruce Lee. So why don't you share a little bit about what you've learned from him,
so,
when you discovered him, and why him?
so I would say my mentor is the universe first, or I'll utilize.
I love you, why? You're always, everything you say, I feel like this. Go ahead.
So I'll start from there, and to simplify for the people, God or Allah and these names, the highest level, the sun and the moon, first and foremost. And then when you look in the physical, the Bruce Lee's, the Bob Marley, the Tupac Amaru Shakur, they come forth. And those came in search of, while I found myself, it was easy to find them because we all watch Bruce Lee as a movie. Wow, wow. But nobody sat down and you felt like he's supposed to do that. You see, the suppose. Lisa's supposed to do this, but we never ask the preparation of Lisa doing that. We never check that. So for me, then you're like, wow. So when I came to have the understanding, when philosophy came to love me, because you shall say we are not loving them, they're loving us, because we are given this. So it's like, oh, love of wisdom. And Bruce Lee was heavy with that, especially when I read this, when he was very heavy with Jiddu Krishnamurti, which I spoke to you about Jiddu, right? He said, Be the light of yourself utterly to the life that is becoming utterly dark. Don't be the light of Professor so and so or Jesus Christ or this. And he used the name Jesus Christ. And when you hear these names, we have given power to certain names for a while, but you're not looking at it from within. So Bruce Lee had highlighted that. So I said, wow, okay, utterly to the light becoming yourself. But Bruce Lee's, when you heard he's starting listening to when he was training people, I remember in his show, 21 Jump Street, he was strangling somebody. Then he said, so how could you let yourself out of this? Then he said, I don't know. Then he said, can't you use your teeth? Can't you bite? He said, then the guy was like biting. He said, now you are thinking. From your mind to your thought, you could lose your teeth. From your mind to your thought, like thought. So it's like, I'm listening. It's like, oh, don't act like you want to bite somebody. Be like, and he said, are we not animals? So it's like there was no preparation, but you already prepared. So Bruce Lee came in those ways for me, where I was like, oh my God. So now you're like, oh my God, this man, when he was punching the bag, he was not just punching the bag because he wants to be seen as a cool guy. No, he was really saying he was punching the cause of his life. It's like, why am I here? So that was Bruce Lee for me, especially in the physique, because we do have to make movement. Everything we think of has to be done. So the Bruce Lee for me was the being done, thing. He used to write poems. He said, the silent flute. There is no help but self-help. So Lisa, you know this. It's like, I don't want to get up, but it's like, if you
Oh,
don't,
absolutely.
yes. So
You
those
and I,
simple words.
yeah, the silent flute. He always said that the wise man is can always be found alone, and a weak man will be found in a crowd. There goes to the silent flute.
The silent flute, exactly. Yes, yes, yes. So then now the Feast of Fury, the Game of Death movies, the Big Boss is not again a movie for me. So Bruce Lee was not a movie for me anymore. So I'm like, I was like, nah, was real. He goes here, he breathed that life. Then the Bob Marley's, it's not it's like real, whereby he said, I want to speak to someone whereby a baby could have the understanding. So it's not understanding again, because the more you read English and speak English slowly, you really find yourself, especially now saying, maybe for me, Kiswahili is my first language. So it's like, okay, you could tell me English language so quickly. That's why we go to these courts and all these things. We have lawyers and all these people because there's something we don't have the understanding. But if you understand, you're going to be always understanding and then healing yourself. But if you have an understanding, you're over your life. It's you. Nobody's over your life. Then it's like you have the universe guiding you. Now it's like everything is accordingly. You can't push, you can't rush, you can't do this. Now it's like, oh my God, everything makes sense. So then Bruce Lee had the same thing, the calmness, and then people like Tupac. When in the Western world, we have been given names, in terms of, the blacks and the situation over there. Say he said, I heard somebody say Tupac was an activist. When I looked the word activist, it said fighting for the cause. So it wasn't just because it's Susie said this, James said that. To me now, it came like, oh, okay. But cause, I cannot run away from it. So it's like, oh, so Tupac was not just like this music or how the picture was painted. And it's like, oh, he was doing something that was already embedded in. So it's like, we can't run away, So it's like, just like Lisa, you have never run away from yourself.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, whereby it's like now you become this magnet, but it's like, how do we utilize this? So those are my three main people that I've always, to the point I came to know that they live within me, and I'm the fourth one.
Yes, because you are a true role model for focusing on making yourself better each day by just being present and in the moment and listening and doing what is uncomfortable. And most people are thinking they're better, but not making themselves better. Just
Yes.
yeah, it takes.
Thinking.
I'm better than that person, or I'm the best this, right? It's like, are you sure about that?
Yes. That was
So
that was a great one. Thinking they're better.
yeah, yeah,
Nice. You think.
yes.
Yes.
And it's not just thinking, it's actually taking action.
Totally.
But you're just like you were saying, get out of bed. You have to get out of bed whether you want to or not, and just do it. And then the more you do, the more you start shifting and changing, and the more you can become your mentor. So I want to go back to Bruce Lee for a second. So you are watching his videos, not just as a movie. So how did you learn martial arts? Because you, sorry, I'm going to plug you again. You use your body as an instrument. It's like a band. You've got the drums, you've got the flutes, you've got the guitar and bass. You go and you play and sing your whole body. It sounds amazing. So how do you learn that? Because Bruce doesn't do that. But I take from your mentors that live in you, then you get to create from that, and you get to mix and match and create Gwaii out of.
So, yes. So it was already created, Lisa. You see, it was already created by the universe. It's only me to walk towards that path of really knowing of what it is. So to the point when I say they're living with me, because it's like they lived their cause. They found their purpose driven into the life, you know. So to the point of Bruce Lee, now watching the movie, it's like, oh man, slowly, you know, it's like the whole smile mattered, everything smart, you know what I mean? Like everything mattered. So to the point, it's like from that, it's like, then it's like, you know, to yourself, you're like, oh my God, you know, now it's like, So he does that naturally. And then there's that side of like, no, I will not do that. You know, so it's like, you know, then it's like, oh, living the full potential of yourself, whereby that applies in everything, which I think another spirit that really does is Kobe Bryant, in terms of how he said, you know, it's not done, or knowing, you know, with Kobe Bryant also, he was very much tapped with Bruce Lee, and he created his shoes very, very soft, like a kung fu shoe. So it's really the be like water, whereby when you already know what you have, it's not to say, it's like, now it's like, oh my God, I can do that, I can do this, I like, oh my God. Like I say, you are moving but not moving, but that came from Bruce Lee, because I got 2 arms and two feet. But Lisa, that's my whole thing. So it's like the mind, body, and spirit, but it's like, no, it's like the soul, mind, and body, because the soul already knew. You are carrying some, like your ancestors saw, then the soul knew, and is taking it to the mind, and the mind is telling the body, and the body is acting to it. So with Bruce, that was all in one. So now then I'm finding the universe is telling me, why? There you are now, you're the 4th one, you know, and I'm the 4th in my family, and I'm born on the 4th of the month. So I'm applying all these things in one, Lisa, whereby it just becomes so, now I want to talk to like a 3-year-old.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to let you do that a little bit, because what I'd love for you to do right now before it ends is to show people the magic that I'm talking about. Create a little 30-second song. Just riff.
30-second song.
For a minute, whatever. Just you be you. Yeah.
Right now.
Minutes left. Yeah.
Okay. And it's a blessing, another day we are here. And it's a blessing no matter what they say. And it's a blessing from Tanzania, yeah, we are. And Lisa in California, hey, it's life, 2314. Almighty say, another day. And it's a blessing no matter what they say. We know we're gonna make it anyway. Well, Lisa right there, Razy right there. She got the red color on the back now. Look at me right here at the mall. What happened live on YouTube, Instagram? Sure, we're gonna watch it later. What does Lisa like? Veggies, falafel, Gwaii, some falafel too. Then Almighty bless you every day. So we drink more water. Lisa, you looking shining and brighty, cause you went to the sauna and had a swimming.
That's great. Okay, so you knew I went swimming and sauna and ate falafel. That's what has to top this. That is crazy. You're channeling.
Yes. Yes. The things that we deal with. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's
a little
great.
freestyle.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Lisa.
So, what's one thing you would like the audience to know about you right now? Or, like, what are you doing? How can they reach you? Are you selling anything? What are you offering people?
So of course, I'm in Tanzania right now. I'm based, of course, in the US between LA and Atlanta as of now. So, and then Tanzania. So far I put my 2 feet in Tanzania, one in LA, one in Atlanta. But basically, the movement is I came here to push my music and to be heard and to have my base here in Tanzania. But also I'd work at the radio station, so I want to continue that because the radio places for people to be heard. So I'm pushing towards that, and of course I'm working on a Gwaii merch and sell CMOS. People have to be healed. CMOS, 92 minerals that the body needs, which we speak of with Lisa, and the CMOS that I sell is from Tanzania, Zanzibar Island over here. As we know, the majority of the CMOS comes from the Caribbean, but this one we're dealing with comes from Africa, of course, so it's a longer journey to get there. Purple sea moss, the Irish moss, the gold too. Um, of course, there's more to come, creating a website where you could just go there and, get all these things together. Because my whole thing is safe and how we dress is very important, what we eat, things that we read. And I plan to put all these things in one so people could purchase that. But as of now, they could follow me at Real Gwaii, Real Gwaii, on Instagram, Facebook, Gwaii. Also, that's the music side, and Gwaii Thy Word, which is ThyWord. I'm sure you would have it there on Lisa's page. But really and truly, it's about peace and love and, uplifting each other. There's no one poor, only the mind is poor,
Yeah.
and there's no one rich. We are wealthy because we did not ask for this, so we just have to remind each other of that. And I feel like we have to be able to remind each other of our parents, even the ones that are not here, just knowing that it was
Yeah.
them. And then here we are, those simple stuff, living in a nuclear and extended family. I think we are living the Western world is very independent. So that then with that independence, at the same time, we're trying to find the Most High God. It's like we're fighting ourselves because the Most High says, I dwell within you. So if you can go to your neighbor and knock the door easy peasy, and here you are trying to socialize, say, I'm looking for God, when God says, I'm within you, God is within Lisa and this person, and we cannot communicate in a simplicity, then this is the whole thing where it comes in. I say, once we all know our purpose, our talents that we are given, printing, sewing, cooking, all these are talent, not music, not singing, speaking to people, having that, what you're given naturally, life will be very easier and easier because I'm not going to look at somebody if they look well. I'm not going to hold that. Your shoes are beautiful. I'm not going to look and keep it to myself. And the other person, did they just look at my shoes? They couldn't say, hey, your shoes. The simple stuff, very simple stuff,
Bringing
to the point.
in the moment. Yes.
Yes, yes. Then that to yourself, I say, my children in this life, Lisa, I'm putting it forward that they will not trip. Some people trip. Why are you tripping? The English word, right? So it's like we want to live in that life whereby you are sure when something happens, you are sure of why. The why. You are not guessing. So it means we are living truly because the sun has already risen. It did not rise just for the rich man or the poor, it rised for all of us. So once we have that ability, then it's easy to do the other stuff. So it's like, hey, let's exercise. Okay, it's a two body, it's the same,
Yeah.
so it's not again, oh, Lisa, you always like doing that when you are like 17. You always, it's like, no, come, Jackie, let's do it. You got it, I got it. Let's go. Because when we are hungry, we never say, hey, my stomach, I'm hungry. I'm a Catholic. I'm hungry. I'm hungry, Lisa. That's
Yes.
it. You know,
On that note, we have to go. Time is up. That is so
man, look at this. Thank you. Thank you very much.
much. And I just wanted to say one last thing. Gwaii and I, we're probably, hopefully, we're going to make it happen with the time. Let's do some Instagram lives, and maybe next year in the fall for a retreat in Tanzania.
Yes,
So we'll
looking forward.
forward. There you go, updated on that. So,
Worldwide.
darling,
Love you. Love you. Thank you. Blessings to you. Soul blazing. More soul blazing.
Okay, you got it.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
I'm Lisa Hayshaw, creator of SoulBlazing. I hack how you can change the negative thoughts in your head that hold you back. I call them imposters. I introduce you to them, teach you how to befriend them, and co-create with them, releasing old negative narratives. As a keynote speaker at your next event, I'll help your team turn into master communicators with more camaraderie, which brings more efficiency and growth to your organization. So join me and make shift happen.